One of the absolute favorite parts of my job is hearing all of your stories, hearing your life stories and being able to be adjacent to your life. And so we get that opportunity this evening. Brianne Burger, along with her husband Travis and her two wonderful daughters, Addie and Maya, came to Washington Hebrew about 5 years ago, and we have been blessed with their presence ever since. Brianne is a leader in the Washington Society of the Jewish Deaf. She is also the director of the special institutions at the U.S. Department of Education. Here she is a mom and is a Jew in her own right. She gets to be a member not just as a mom. And she also has already helped us to be more inclusive and to make sure that our classes are more accessible, and has just been such an asset to our community. And so, Brianne, we are so honored and excited to hear your story and what you have to share with us this evening. Thanks, Brianne.
Hi, everyone. I am going to speak for myself because I want you to hear my voice, but I'm also going to sign also to the people here that rely on sign language, and it's my native language. So first I want to say thank you. Thank you. It's really an honor to come here and speak to you all. It's my first time, so really I should feel really touched to be able to do that. So first, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. So a little bit about myself. My family, Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews. We moved here through New York and DC, like probably many of you. We love our pastrami and rye with half sour pickles, right? Half though. I was born up to hearing parents who had to learn how to advocate for access to school and other things for me. My parents wanted to install in me strong Jewish foundation, valued and a deep understanding of my Jewish heritage. They quickly learned that many temples and Havaras do not provide accommodation for deaf people. So my parents tried to find a temple that was inclusive. Eventually, they found a temple with about 35 to 45-minute drive from my house each way. So the temple we belonged to provided interpreters for services. Religious school on Sunday, sometimes I was in a class with my hearing peers. Sometimes I was in a separate class with one or two other deaf students. I couldn't attend Hebrew school. That was definitely not accessible, so my parents hired a tutor so I could achieve my bat mitzvah. Later, as an adult, I could not find a temple that was inclusive or provided accommodation. So instead, I joined the Washington Society of Jewish Deaf organization region here in the DC area. They provide social events and gatherings for Jewish deaf people. They don't have a rabbi, they don't have a lay leader, and most of our events were led by a number of deaf Jews taking turns to say prayers or talk about the significance of Jewish holidays, the value. When my fiance, now my husband, and I wanted to get married, we had to drive to New Jersey to convince the rabbi there who is deaf. We drove there 4 times to convince him to marry us. The rabbi finally agreed, and we had a really beautiful ceremony, and we even got to say our vows in Israeli Sign Language. That was really amazing. I would tell you, it was really outstanding. Many of our family members, the friends that were there in the wedding ceremony, were just blown away, amazed to see a rabbi that is deaf because there's so few of them. We were truly fortunate to have this experience. Now we have 2 beautiful daughters, aged 11 and 9, and we want to continue to pass on our Jewish heritage, values, and belief to them. They are hearing, which means they can go to any temple, any religious school to prepare for the B'nai Mitzvahs. However, they created a dilemma, or more like a difficult choice for us as deaf parents, because we live in our neighborhood. We're here in Northwest DC, but we live closer to a temple in our neighborhood where many of my daughter's classmates, school classmates, and neighbors attend to that temple, which meant if we put them in there, they would know many people, and they would have those ongoing connections on a daily basis. However, that temple did not provide interpreters or accommodations of any kind, period, which meant we would probably be left out of services and conversations and connections with other members, even if they were our neighbors and parents from school that we know. So we had to make a choice between a temple where the girls would belong and we would be left out, or join a temple where we had an opportunity to be included, because here they provide interpreters and they have a reputation of being inclusive. But this meant the girls would have to meet new people and try to make new friends. We made that decision years ago to join the temple. The girls attend religious school on Sunday and Hebrew school during the week. We know the clergy, the rabbi, and the cantors. We attend the service on the high holidays, Shabbat, Purim. We're looking forward to Purim coming up, other events. But the reality is, we only know maybe one or two parents from the religious school. I've always felt on the outside, looking into my own religion, my own community. The only group here in the temple that really welcomed me is the Disability Committee, which is led by Laura. Where is Laura? Oh, there she is. Laura, which raises the question, how really inclusive are we here in the temple? So every member here can think of a family member or a close friend who is affected by a condition that impacts their ability to access, right? Any temple, not just this temple. So what could we do here to be more inclusive? What could you do to be more inclusive? So I was thinking, and I came up with some ideas, some suggestions. One, if we could create an official affinity group on behalf of people with disabilities who advise the board and the clergy. Raise your hand if you cannot physically come up on the bema in the sanctuary. I think there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more people that cannot get on that bema in the sanctuary. We're here, over here, we have a nice little ramp. But most of the time, we're over there in the other room, right? It's very hard for many people to get up. I've seen older members, I've seen children fall down those steps over there, okay? Maybe a few of you might have tripped a few times. a minute, okay. So if someone cannot be called for Aliyah or cannot come up to the bema, the space, not the person, is the problem. So maybe we could create a ramp or easy access to the bema for everyone to come up in the other sanctuary. We have one here. It would be nice to emulate that in the other room. Another idea is general access to the temple. Of course, we have very understandable security concerns, so we have less access to using the Macon Street entrance, which is more accessible on most days. So which means now people have to come in through the parking lot. But when you come in, there are two sets of stairs, right? There's one going down, there's one going up. It's very hard for a lot of people, very difficult. Really challenging. So what kind of measures are we sending when the temple says we are inclusive, but you walk into the door and you already have to struggle with a steep staircase? So let's think about how we can make the temple more accessible. Another idea I've been trying for a couple of years now, and they've heard me in partnering with the organization that I previously mentioned, the Washington Society for Jewish Deaf. They have over 200 deaf and hard of hearing members that live across the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. They're looking for a home base with a rabbi who will welcome them, and not just them. It's me, I need a home too. So let's think about who is missing from this congregation. Why are they not here? This is not just about inclusion, this is about belonging. So I want to leave you with the last question to wrap up my speech here. How can we make everyone feel like they belong here? So thank you so much, and I hope that you will feel more welcome to say hello to me anytime. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Yeah. Brianne, thank you so much for sharing your story and also continuing to challenge us to be the best congregation that we can be. Unless you're right, like unless someone points it out to us, I'll speak for myself, I won't see it. And so thank you for doing that and for being brave to point it out. And we absolutely want to continue to partner to make our congregation not just a congregation of inclusion and of acceptance, but a congregation of belonging. And thank you for doing your leadership role in making sure that that happens.